whatever we can reach, let's reach out to the people. We seek blessings of the universe and the cosmic energies to bless the mankind. Thank you, everyone. It's my pleasure to conduct these sessions on behalf of Dr. Gulshan Sharma. And I'll just like to start with a few slides that are introduction to the platform and what Dr. Gulshan Sharma is doing right from morning till evening. So I'll be sharing my screen with all of you. As you can see, this is an international chamber for service and industry. And that's a link between India and over 31 million overseas people who are connected via this platform. Whole effort of Dr. Gulshan Sharma right from morning, if you see his YouTube channel, GS Motivator, you will find that right from morning till evening, there are continuously sessions on various aspects related to education, and people across the globe are connecting on this platform to share their experiences, to share their learnings, to actually transform education, maybe help out the younger generation, maybe help out even adults and the youth to become useful global citizens, where we can really talk about one world, one religion, that is mankind and humanity. That is the effort of Dr. Gulshan Sharma to do these sessions continuously from morning to evening. His enthusiasm is worth looking at how he does it. Then how ICSI is offering soft skills and life management skill, how people are being invited to this platform from various parts of the globe in order to share that with the younger generation and the others who log in into the YouTube channel for attending these programs. It's a wonderful platform where people learn everything right from music, art and craft to yoga, to health, to Ayurveda, to everything that you can think about for the well-being of a human being. You can look at this slide, how youth empowerment programs, how various programs for conservation of water, conservation of natural resources, how empowering of MSMEs, how NRIs are contributing to education, how we talk about everything that can really transform the well-being of a human being, well-being of an individual. And this series is particularly focused on Northeast India. And you have to really listen to him in order to understand how much passionate Dr. Gulshan Sharma has been the connection with Northeast India. Now, it's a call for all of us being together on this platform to share whatever we can do in order to transform the environment, transform the tourism sector, transform the music, transform health, whatever area of education you can think of, this platform offers a connection for that. And it's my pleasure to welcome today Ms. Sadaf Siddiqui, a creative teacher par excellence, whom I have seen on LinkedIn, and I really have to extend a heartfelt gratitude to her for giving me this helping hand, because the person, Mr. Kalam sir, who was supposed to be doing this session from Guwahati, he was detected as COVID positive. So last minute call. Thank you, Ms. Sadaf, for being there on this short call notice to us. And of course, Utsav Pradhan. I think I'm meeting him. Please put on your video, Usavji. I can see you there. So I'm seeing him after a long time. He has been part of Next Education with me. I still remember the Learn Next days. However, his passion to be with Mother Earth, passion to be with the environment, passion to do what he really felt like doing. That's what I have observed in him, and it was my long cherished desire to invite him on such a platform where he can talk about how has he worked out in that specific area where he is located, Darjeeling, and how he has transformed the environment. That is one part, but how he has actually involved people into this, how transforming the lives of people around him. That is the wonderful part of all this. So it's my pleasure to welcome both the panelists of today, Mr. Utsav Pradhan and Ms. Saddaf Siddiqui. She's an educator, but how she talks about art integrated education, that would be a pleasure to listen to her and look at her presentation too. At the moment, I'd like to start with Mr. Utsav Pradhan and the organization that he talks about, TD. Take it easy, easy does it. It's a wonderful line to go for it. And if you look for this work on the Facebook, you will really find that how every individual as a part of that organization, right from the person who works in the kitchen to the persons who are working somewhere else in his organization, are a wonderful part of team culture that he has created. Welcome, Mr. Utsav Pradhan, to this platform, and it's over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. And it's a pleasure, and more than that, it's an honor to be on this panel and to share our story, our journey so far as TED. You're right. I mean, it stands for Take It Easy, Easy Does It, and which basically translates into doing such a critical work that is there right now in terms of trying to work together with Mother Nature and yet trying to make it sustainable. And in the process, having a lot of fun, okay, and bringing the community together. So that's where the name came about. So we are a permaculture-based organization where we look at all aspects of bringing people and nature together so that we don't see it as two distinct beings at all. And the goal here is to create not just sustainable, but a regenerative ecosystem that looks at building bridges between people to be able to work together with Mother Nature in all aspects of their lives, not just, let's say, in farming, but also on other aspects. So thank you once again for the invitation, and it's an honor to be on this panel with your esteemed other guests here.
So what would you like to share a presentation?
No, unfortunately, I don't have a presentation. Okay, but what I would like to talk about is what permaculture is. Okay, and
yes,
what is context
that is
to
one
notice.
question that
Yeah.
you need to answer for all the audience out
Sure.
there, and
Sure.
what permaculture is and how you have transformed that river that you talk about and the area, so that people know that how that passion can actually drive you to do something which can transform the things that you call as care for Mother Earth or planet Earth, and that's what probably the Earth needs actually at this moment.
Right. So I think if we start from the beginning, a lot of people talk about it as protecting the environment, okay? And a lot of people talk about it as saving Mother Earth. Okay? But our perspective is different. What we look at is if you bring into the context of what the problem is right now that we are seeing, both with regards to wildfires, to floods, to cyclones, to even for the matter, the current terrible pandemic the entire world is going through, it all relates to the core fact that we've forgotten where we are coming from. We've forgotten our bond with Mother Nature. And so people talk about destruction of Mother Earth. People talk about environmental crisis, but we look at it differently, and we say that Mother Earth does not need saving. So she will keep changing forms. She's been here like billions of years, and we've been a mere speck in her existence so far. And no matter what we do and how we go about, she will go on. So here the talk actually is about human existential crisis as to how do we stop our own existential threat, where if we do not change our ways, we do not have much time in this only place that we can call home as of now. And it has all started with trying to use up uh, the natural non-renewable resources like oil, petroleum, if you look at it, and then trying to fulfill our need, which has slowly started turning into greed, that has created this problem. So this is where permaculture comes in, where it talks about three very simple ethics to go by, okay? And it's a belief system, and it talks about those three ethics are care for earth, care for people, and fair share. So it's as simple as that. So anything that you do, you have a checklist for these three ethics, and these ethics form the core of permaculture. So very simple: care for earth, care for people, and fair share. So if we are able to align our work and align our creative energies to fall in line with these three things as the ethics, and we follow this belief system, then you can apply it anywhere. So there is something called natural farming systems, where you move away not just from chemical farming, but also unnatural farming systems. So it could be organic, it could be inorganic, but if it's unnatural, it will not be sustainable for a long time. Okay, so you move into more of natural farming system, where you try and mimic what happens with Mother Nature, and then you try and inculcate those kind of systems into practice in your everyday life. And when you look at, let's say, building a house for yourself, you could start considering using natural materials instead of the synthetic man-made materials, like you can say tiles or even cement, and things that's extracted with a lot of carbon impacts, like metal and all of that. So you kind of then reflect and then see how is it that you can uh, align yourself to be more um, having less carbon footprint while you're building your house. So that's where things like bamboo comes in, right? So bamboo is something that we have experimented with. We've built a lot of homes with bamboo, and using the local other resources like mud, stones from where we are building itself. And then you realize that your ecological impact of the house that you build is small. And the other interesting impacts of all of this is when you stay in a mud house, you end up becoming healthier because your house breathes along with you. Okay, and the bamboo as a resource is great because every 3 years it shoots back up, and then you can still harvest the entire bamboo grove. Unlike a tree, which takes, let's say, about 40, 50 years for a mature tree to kind of give you the quality of the wood that you're looking at to build a home. Okay, so those are just a couple of examples with regards to natural farming and natural buildings. But similarly, you can apply this on any aspect of your life. Then in permaculture, there are certain principles that you follow. Okay, and those are again very simple principles where you, before you end up making an execution plan for anything, you um, have uh, an approach where you can do something called protracted observation. So it's not just observation, but it's protracted observation where you try and look things from all perspectives, come back, and then you make a plan. So similarly, you have the other principles of permaculture that you apply. So it was a movement that was started in Australia by Bill Mollison and David Holmgren, and then the movement has gained ground. It's been around for about 40 years or so now, and there are different permaculture hotspots around in the world. In India, Darjeeling, you can say, is one hotspot where various people are practicing permaculture. Hyderabad is one hotspot. Auroville is one hotspot. So similarly, at different places, there has been like hotspots that's coming about where people are trying to get permaculture principles in practice. Okay, and but having said that, what I would say is our forefathers were already permaculturists. So it's not something that you're trying to learn new. But here it's just like trying to apply low technology to solve some of the immensely complex problems that you see around us. Okay, so that's permaculture in terms of how it can help solve some of the biggest world problems that we see around us. Because a huge aspect of it is working with community. So when you say care for people, it's whatever that you do, is it benefiting the people too? So let's say you're running an organization, right? So you're launching a new product, and let's say it's an online product. So how is it, apart from benefiting your bottom line, how is it benefiting your people? Now, when I'm saying your people, it's not just your people are not just your customers, your people are also your employees, right? So how is it benefiting them, right? Is it adding value to the entire ecosystem? And are they feeling good about talking about the product? And is it good for the environment too, right? So is it a chips packet that the company is making where it's a single-use chips packet where people come, eat the chips, and then they dump it? Okay, so is that a product that is good for the environment, good for people? Is it fair share? Okay, so in this case, when I give an example of a chips package, which is something that you see as very ubiquitous right now, where you see it everywhere, it kind of does not meet the permaculture ethics on any of these three ethics that we see. Okay, so those are certain examples that we'd like to showcase. Okay, and um, I moved back to Darjeeling in 2016 from Hyderabad, and it's been about 4.5 years that we've started this project called TED, which is based out of Darjeeling, and it's been an interesting journey so far. What started off as a small venture ended up becoming an adventure, where we've seen we've gone through very interesting experiences. And because we wanted to self-fund the whole journey, uh, and in fact, that's one of the permaculture principles where it says, if you're doing something, try and get a yield out of it, because without getting a yield, how will you even make it sustainable, right? So when we built the mud house, we let it out for travelers who are coming to Darjeeling to experience living in a natural building while staying in Darjeeling. So that's the whole philosophy got ground, and within like a couple of years, in TripAdvisor, we were ranked as the #1 specialty lodging in Darjeeling. So that's kind of ended up funding the entire work that we were doing with the community in terms of cleaning a river or even cleaning the whole land that we are working on, because our project is based on a dump yard. So we took up a dump yard that had been like, for lack of a better word, I would say, been molested for almost 20 years, with all kinds of waste being dumped into it. And the idea was to transform that into a rainforest river, revive the river, which is also sort of like a dumping river where
So
everything
my
was going into
question
the
would be,
river.
because that was the story with which you started. Because if you go back to your system, and I spoke to you earlier also, you started with that river. How did you start? Were you only the person to begin with? How did you bring the team along with you? How did it uh, grow as a project? Because that's what probably can inspire somebody else somewhere to do that.
Sure. So I think it it is not a straight line going up. I think we witnessed a lot of failures in trying to even get people together and trying to convince them as a community. The work for us is still in progress, where we are still trying to ensure that even though people aspire to be part of the market economy, we still say that, okay, you can be part of the market economy without thrashing the environment around it. So we started off by calling for small meetings where it could be just be talking to your neighbor, and without taking the moral high ground, telling him that, hey, you know what, you are littering, and that is bad, and that is bad for the environment, that is bad for me. And they see this guy who's come from the city, hippie looking, and then say that, hey, this guy is coming and talking to me about something that I'm doing. It does not go well that time. So what you do is then you create the small relationship where, let's say, you start by buying milk from that particular person's cow rather than buying it from outside. So you build a relationship there. Okay, and let's say you start by exchanging your vegetables with that particular person and exchanging seeds. So you build a relationship first, and then you kind of start looking at ways to explore that relationship further. So it's a slow progress, but a steady one.
But I also remember you're doing some yoga courses out there for people. What about that course like there?
So
There are like other activities apart from that project that you are doing, bringing back the life to environment that is out there, right?
yeah.
Which probably I've
So
been trying to visit for such a long time to you, but every time it hasn't happened yet. But that is
yeah.
on my cards for sure. But how about the other programs that you are offering to the visitors around? Because I remember you have a yoga program too going on, right?
Yeah. So what we were trying to do is make the forest and the trees accessible to people. Okay, so when one is getting people from outside to come and stay in your lodges, in your dwellings, um, so that is one aspect. The other aspect is involving the locals to come forward and be uh, a part of the entire ecosystem where we try and revive those old forgotten crafts. It's not just yoga, but we are talking about bamboo weaving, right? We are talking about, let's say, working with the local artisans in in a forest environment. So we started something called a bandhat, which was an experiential uh, movement that we did, sort of like an event every once in a month that we do, where we call in um, artists and we create an environment for them to kind of showcase their art and also teach people their art. And also, we call in people who are passionate about food so that they can cook the food, artists can display their wares, they can teach people. And then all of this happens in a very, like a forest environment. So by evening, some of the artists who are musicians will start playing guitar and there's a bonfire there. And then people realize that, hey, you don't really need those fancy disco lights and those loud music to have fun. You can have fun while being in nature too. And it could be a quiet acoustic evening where uh, the strumming of the guitar is matched by the humming by the cicadas, so there is a natural orchestra that happens.
Oh.
So the idea is then to connect people and make it accessible for them rather than just making it a very exclusive or a niche thing. So that's what we're trying to do, to make the whole thing very, very, very accessible.
One more question. Are you running the courses for teaching permaculture to the people so that they can carry that aspect of yours to the places wherever they are? Maybe there are some few enthusiasts who would like to do that.
Sure. We have been doing a number of like introduction to permaculture courses, which is the shorter version of it. Uh, we've also recently hosted the entire full-fledged permaculture course. So it's a 15-day intensive permaculture design certification course. And we did this in partnership with our friends from this teaching collective called Teaching Where It Matters. And so they are a group of facilitators who move around in remote places in India to kind of bring permaculture and make it more accessible. So we recently hosted this where we had 18 participants from all over India come down, live in a forest, and learn uh, in an open sort of like a classroom with, let's say, trees all around. So it is like going back to the Gurukul days. So yes, that's happening. We're trying to make permaculture also go mainstream rather than it being like a very elitist or a very niche thing.
Great, nice listening to you. But I wish you can just have a small video to show it to us towards the end. In the meantime, I will call Miss Sadaf to do her presentation. If you can show us a little bit of what the place looks like and what you have done out there, how you have transformed from it, will give a little view to the audience who are all logged into the YouTube and to us also that what is your place like where you were working in a digital content development company and you moved into something which is entirely tangential to that. So what that passion, probably if you can get a short video for us towards the end, we would like to see that. At the moment, I would like to thank you so much. It's a pleasure meeting you after such a long time, even it is virtually. And my visit to your place is due. I will be inviting Ms. Saddaf Siddiqui, and let me tell everyone around here that I am totally in awe of Ms. Saddaf's work on LinkedIn. You must go and see how she uses the natural resources at her disposal. I don't know whether she's got it here or not. So something that I can connect, that how she uses vegetables, fruits, and arrangements in order to really teach bio. So I'm sure, Rustam, you will like that, and you will be reminding yourself of the Learn Next days when we were doing it together. So she is working as a bio mentor in Birla High School, ladies and gentlemen. She is also a guest lecturer in the same Shikshayatan college out there. It's a big campus where I've had many other people to also connect with. It's a pleasure, and once again, grateful to your presence being here. Thank you, and it's over to you, Ms. Saddaf.
Yes, first of all, I would like to thank Ma'am Veena and Gulshan Sharma sir and the entire team of GS Motivators for giving me this chance, this opportunity to speak and be on this panel and express my heartfelt gratitude and all thanks to this platform for giving. Yes, and now I would like to present a topic, that is art education, art integration in education. Now, as we know, NEP, National Education Policy 2020, is totally emphasizing on creativity and not rote learning. We have to move away from rote learning to experiential learning, where children can experience, can experience the learning and actually learn, by reflecting through those experiences. They need to have those hands-on activities. As we know that we are moving ahead with technology. We are all, our hands are on technology, but our system is still biology and psychology. So we have to come back to the system and understand how exactly the learning takes place, how the wiring of the brain is there, and how the memory, short-term to long-term memory, how the registration takes place. So here the creativity and hands-on experiences are very important. I have a short presentation. Ma'am, can I just present? Can I
yes, perfectly fine. Let's go with it.
So I will just present my screen here. Ma'am, is it visible?
Yes, perfectly fine. Put it in the slideshow and then
I'll just, yes. Okay, I hope my presentation is visible to everybody.
Yes, everybody. Yes, perfectly.
So, okay, so let me begin first. Now, today my topic is art integration in education. What is art integration? Now, first let me begin with the quote of Batsman, which says that, it doesn't matter who we are from within. What matters is how we are able to express ourselves. What we are going to do. That is about art integration. Art integration is all about creativity. It is not about sticking to remote learning. So I'll just start with art integration here. Defining the goals is very important. As a teacher, we need to be very, very sure, like, what is our why? Not only as teacher, anybody who is associated with any field, our whys or the purpose has to be very clear, because until unless the purpose of the why is clear, we will not be able to move with hows and whats. So first of all, let us understand what is the purpose of education. Now, what is the basic purpose of education? If I was expecting some participants, but I don't think there are any participants. So let me.
They are on YouTube actually.
Okay.
Dr. Sharma is there. Okay. He keeps on interacting with them, questions and answers. However,
so
he's not.
Okay. So in case, what exactly is the purpose of education? Now, what are the things that come to our mind when we're talking about education? Ma'am, would you like to try?
What is it? Like a purpose of education. As per me, what I have been like, if I can teach the person to lead a life that is in accordance with the environment, in accordance with the biosphere in which we survive, the societies around us, that's what is the purpose of life. Degrees for me, I have hardly any meaning unless I can. So knowledge is power only when it transforms the behavior of a person, transform the persona of a person. How it has, how Utsav has gone from that tech enabled company to what he's doing right now is a transformation of his passion. So what he found it out, if any child, any individual can find out the passion for which the person wants to live and go for it wholeheartedly, probably you can transform the world around you and you yourself too.
Yes,
That's what I feel the
yeah.
purpose of
So that
education.
is, yes. So that is all about education. What it is a holistic development of the child, as ma'am very well said. It is about positive energy, the discipline, the overall discipline, unity, confidence, how they are empowered, how confident they feel, how fulfilled they feel. The aim of life is fulfilled. Talents, interest. Does it cater to interest? Because there are diverse students, and everybody has a diverse interest. So we cannot have the same tailored educational system. We need to have diversity so that it can cater to each and every student. There should be equal opportunity, nationality, and with art coming into integration, we will have more and more, nationality. People will be students will be learning about more about culture, the dance forms, the various art forms. So that is also bringing it, because as we are moving ahead with technology, our culture and value system is slowly eroding away. So with this art integrated education, we can expect a better nationality concept coming again, because there will be more dance forms, various art forms which they will be able to learn and study and also. So we are expecting with education system, we want creative learners. In the future, we want all problem solvers, creative students. We want critical thinkers, collaborators. We want all the scientific approach to thinking, 21st century skills. So this is what exactly we want as a teacher. So this is the goal. Now, how do we link? First of all, we need to be clear with the goals. What are the goals of education? And we need to understand the learners have different learning styles. And how are we going to connect the dots and bring about the best learning outcome? So, what is the link that we're going to do that? Now, how do children learn? As we know that all people are different. People are like fingerprints. 5 fingers of a same hand is not the same. So how can we expect children in the classroom to be all the same? So every child has a different learning style. The moment we realize that, we'll be able to transform the educational system. How do children learn? So let me explain. This is a quote by me. I have just created this quote. Children learn best by creating a mess. You leave children on their own, they will experience, they will, we as adults, we're just scared. But with failures, they're going to, the more times they fail, the more number of times they're going to come up with better solutions. So children learn best by creating a mess. That is the whole impact of experiential learning, where they're experiencing through hands-on activities, through art integrated education. So that is about how do children learn best. Now I'll go about how the brain learns. The brain, how it learn. It is through practice. Many times when we are at home, we remember our family members' names very easily. But when we meet a new person, we forget the name the moment we meet them next time. So why is it? Because that's we're not practicing. So we have to keep on practicing so that the short-term memory becomes a long-term memory. So experimentation means they need to experiment. We need to leave our children, all the school children, so that they can explore and find what suits them, what is the interest, how they're going to discover. Because Thomas Edison said, I have not failed, I have found 1,000 ways that do not work. So we have to leave the children entirely, we have to let them experiment. And we have to, as we know, the more the sensory organs are involved, watching, listening, they're able to register the information very well. Because when we are watching a movie, motivational video, we tend to associate with that video. We get inspiration. So that is about how the brain functions. We cannot only listening to the teacher is not going to help. What is going to help is how many times they are involved, how well they're involved, how well they're connecting, reflecting. After they are experiencing, they need to reflect, think about the thoughts. Social construction, they need to communicate. Man is a social animal. The more they will communicate, the more they will do collaborating, learning, peer teaching. They will be able to register, learn the information much better. Meaning making, they have to find out meaning, like mnemonics when the teachers are teaching. For example, in our times we had the solar system. I think all of us had learned, my very excellent mother just sat upon 9 pins. So when you use those, students are able to associate meaning. So the learning becomes much more easier. That is how a brain is designed. It is not designed for rote learning. It is designed for experiencing, associating, forming relationships inside the brain, and recalling the information becomes much easier. The learning pyramid, we all are clear, so I'll just move ahead. Okay, now what exactly is art? Art, would you like to try? I'm a teacher, so I would apologize. I have this habit of getting more and more students into it.
It is always good to do like that only, but however, they people are on today. Dr. Gulshan Sharma is on.
Because otherwise, it's like speaking to your own self.
Yes.
So, sir, would you like to try like a teacher? I'm just asking you, what is art?
Yes, so sir, go ahead.
Art for me is, like you said, first starts by creating a mess, okay, where you try and get what's out from your head onto a form that you'd want to showcase to the world. So it could be like a painting, or it could be music, or it could be sculpture, or it could be anything. Why I'm saying it's a mess to start off with is because initially, when you hone your skills, it may come across as a little haphazard, but yeah, art is something with which you express your imagination to the world.
Very good. I congratulate sir. Thank you so much for breaking the monotony of me only doing the self-talk. So yes.
No, that is how Utsav is actually doing the beautification of the Mother Earth.
Yes.
By bringing the environment eco-balance with the society in which we are living, because that's the priority at this moment. And definitely when you are talking about art, it brings in creativity, it brings in imagination, it brings the thought process of the child to really put it into words. You can write a poetry, you can become a story writer, you can become like somebody who wants to draw, somebody who wants to paint, somebody who wants to really cook also. That is also an art, that how well you are as a chef. So even salad decoration by itself is an art. That how flower arrangement is an art. So that is how we have seen that art in every part of our life around us. Rangoli that people do on their celebrations is another form of art where people bring in their creativity to do. We have done it with the regular geometrical shapes, but nowadays people do it otherwise also. They just do it by drawing it like that only. That's what is probably
basically our education system earlier was very rigid. It was very airtight. Now airtight container. Now we want to break the boundaries. So art is giving you that flexibility. As sir and ma'am very well said, there is music form, there is a drawing, there is painting, there is drama. Because as we know, some students are introverts. They are very good at painting, drawing, and singing. But some are very extroverts. They are not very good at drawing, painting, or being quiet and sitting. They are more, going for the drama, theater. So this is giving the same topic the teacher can give you, and both introverts and extroverts will be able to express themselves and do a wonderful, fantastic job. So what is art here? It is just creativity, colors, expression, free expression. It is freedom basically. It is no limitation. It is expression, priceless beauty, and these are the various art forms that we have: painting, drawing, music, dance, art, theater. So this is giving, for the same topic, the teacher gives the same topic, but everybody, as we can imagine, the introverts and extroverts are getting the chance. Some can do theater, some can do dance, some can do painting, some can do drawing. But earlier in our times, we had to stick to that narrow, airtight education system where only one topic you have to submit the assignment. Here it is broadening of the spectrum. So it is, I think, one of the most fantastic step taken by NEP.
I would just like to add that how the pandemic times in the last 1 year has helped people to bring out their desires of painting, paper folding, even cutting and chilling. I mean, they have done so much, and so many of them have gone for growing vegetables and fruits and different kinds of crops on their terraces, how they have created. That is all how this period of time we made. It was difficult time, but however, people have come out of their shells and done the wonderful things in the last 1 year.
Yes, ma'am, very well said. Many of the students, many as when we grow up, we do not know. We are always still in the shells. We don't know that what we can do in the future. We don't know. I could become a chef maybe in the future. I never know. So here, during the pandemic, we got a chance to explore our inner creativities and come up with this. So now children, school children are getting this wonderful opportunity where they can do that. Now, what exactly is the importance of art? I'll just move ahead. First of all, the motor skills. As they're using their hands, legs, either to dance, either to paint, either to draw. So they're enhancing their motor skills, their cognitive skills, the brain development is taking place, visual learning, inventiveness, people skills, they're interacting, they're forming groups, they're learning, so they're developing social skills. Inventiveness, I would like to include here. Now, as you know, innovation, creativity with art, different forms of art, they're getting innovation, they're creating art. There are many TED Talks which talk about school killing the creativity. I think I will also yes.
That his TED Talk is actually valued so much that everybody, I think we've heard it so many times.
And as teachers also we get to hear schools are killing the creativity, which is not our part. We are not doing anything to that. The education policies have to be changed, otherwise we cannot change anything else. So yeah, so we don't want to kill creativity. We don't want to put children into, inside box, outside box. We just want to remove all the boxes. We just want to, through art integrated education, we just want to remove all the inside, outside box. We just want to give them a lot of freedom so they can come up with innovation, more creativity. They can practice. They can fail number of times so that they can succeed in a much better way. So that is about thinking creativity for all the future careers. Now coming to what is art integration, it is as simple as that. The curriculum, the subjects which we have, normally the STEM subjects, engineering, math, science, literacy, and the dance forms which we have, art, the dance, music, theatre, puppetry. When we merge both of them in the Venn diagram, we get a integrate or a combined art integration, which is a very useful thing, because with that we can the students will be able to, critical thinking skills. The 21st century skills are very, very important. It is not restricted to rote learning. We see that many of the, children come first in the class, but they are mostly restricted to learning from what is this, what is that. They cannot face, they're not prepared to face the real world challenges. They're not prepared. But with this, what will happen, every student will get a better opportunity or a chance to express themselves. It is about active student buy-in, means they are doing actively. They are one student at a time. They are actively engaged. Critical thinking, they're involving their brain. They are connecting the dots, how and what has to be done, and that is leading to empowerment. Is if any student is given a chance to, to show his painting in the class in front of everybody else, or to speak in front of everybody, wouldn't that the child feel confident and more empowered that, okay, today I am valued? He is preparing and showing it to the entire class. So that is he's going to invest more on that, because it's like a added badge to that student, and they are going to become more confident and empowered. So that is about the benefits of art integration. Now the next is equality and equity, which I really wanted to bring this thing. Equality, our education system always believed in equality, giving the same books to all the children. But what we want is equity, because every child is not the same. As we said, people are like fingerprints, they're not the same. Like I always say, all the fingers on my hand are not the same. How can I expect all the children to be the same? So what we need is to create equal opportunities. Just like I said, with art, if the teacher or we are providing the same topic, but introverts, they are very good at drawing or writing poetry, so they can do that. Extroverts, they can do theater, they can do art forms. So this is about equity, where the same topic, but both the interest of both the students, introvert, extroverts, are equally looked. So if you see the picture very well, our education system present is talking about only equality, that is giving the same books to all of them, which is not going to help. What is exactly going is to create equal opportunities, so that that is true fairness. So I think this is a very good step here. Now I'll just move ahead. Art is everywhere. Now this is, I think, ma'am's favorite part, which I would like to share. Now from wherever you see, all the mosaics and the tiles to your ceilings or everywhere, art is present everywhere. We just have to open our eyes and be self-aware. Now art is everywhere. How can we integrate and use that in our particular teaching learning subjects? Okay, now coming to our teaching learning subjects, we can apply this in innumerable subjects. I have used as many subjects as possible, though my subject is biology. So I'll just move ahead. So this is the favorite part I think ma'am was talking about. Now when we are teaching in the class, like origami, when we're teaching about class Pisces in the animal kingdom, we can ask the children to make some origami, which is not very difficult. Many of them will be able to do. Then again here with salad, and this is also art, different form of your skeletal system. The right is the excretory system. You can see the bottom left one. This was actually made by an introvert student of my class. So just like I always say, if a teacher's observation power is very well, you'll be able to see that introverts are very good at drawing, very good at writing. They might not be, they're not very comfortable in speaking, but they have a different way of expressing themselves. So that beautiful heart diagram was actually made by one of my introvert students. So that is what I said. Art is giving expression to each and every student. Then we have this ecosystem, eco-friendly projects can be done. The right side here, this one which we had done as a science exhibition, One World, One Family. This was an interdisciplinary approach, which also NEP talks about, where we can actually integrate and combine a lot of subjects like earth, geography, history, physics, everything can be combined. One world, one family. So this is about in biology. Next is in mathematics. I think this is not my subject, but I tried to gather some information here. So now when some kind of activity sheets can be given to children, and some dices can be given where they are playing also. So which number, for example, if you see it's 6 plus 2, that is 8. So the child is going to color only that patch where the game patch is there. And he is also learning about the colors also. So this is some interdisciplinary interdisciplinary approach also, and art form also involved. So this is more creative and interesting way. They are seeing it as a game because they are playing also, and then they are coloring, and they are learning maths also. Addition is also there. So they are learning coloring, they are learning addition, and they are enjoying it. So this is about maths thing. Then, for example, this. Here the teacher can give some activity sheets where parallel lines are there, so they have to identify how many triangles are there, or what is the angle, what is right angle, what is obtuse angle, what are the which ones are parallel lines. They can color, they can use different shades of the color. So basically it is art involved means to create more interest in students, and so that they grasp the concept in a much better manner. Even these Venn diagrams where they are making that can be done. And also this pizza is a very common one for ratio, when the teacher is teaching about the ratio, which can also be combined as an interdisciplinary approach. While because how can we apply it? Because when they're teaching, when the teacher is teaching about in maths, she's teaching about ratios. She can also teach about about the cheese from where it comes from, or where the vegetables which they come from, or Italy, the main pizza. So she can also talk about the culture of that place, that particular place. So that is an interdisciplinary. It is just connecting things instead of history. The child going to history teacher and learning about the Italy and the different lifestyles, or geography teacher, he can also learn as an interdisciplinary course. Okay. So I'll go to the next one. This is about social science, that history, geography. For example, if they are learning about ozone depletion, which is also a biology topic, and they can also study about the globe or the earth. So they can make about that volcano. They can make tremendous, outstanding models can be made. Even Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, when they are studying about that different earth forms, life forms that they are studying, they can also make that models, clay models can be made, which is a hands-on activity and first-hand learning experience. So first-hand learning experience will give them a more better learning experience. The next one is for language, which can be done. For example, if a student is studying about some kind of any poem out of which is related to dream, or any kind of poem which is related to different social workers or social analysts, so they can always study about that, make pictures, make posters on that. Whichever topic they are studying, they can make posters, pictures, they can relate them. Prefix pockets is very important, because when the children is very clear about prefix, they will be able to associate, like return, re means again, okay, regain, so it means again. So it is the same thing. And for sounds also, when they are studying, they can, this can be for both physics also, and for English also, and for biology also. Like different life forms have different kinds of, they make different sounds. So the teacher, so English, biology, and your physics, how the sound, the waves are produced. So it can be all interdisciplinary also, and children will enjoy because they will be gathering the information. Teacher is not providing them the information, they are going to gather the information, and they are going to come up and speak to and show their presentation in front of the class. So I'm sure that the students have to present, all of them want to present and gain all those wonderful claps from their wonderful, from the whole class. So they will definitely put a lot of input, because they need the claps. As children, I think they need that motivation, and that way, I think this is a wonderful approach to teaching. That is art integration in education. So with this, I think I come with an end to my presentation. Just stop share.
Wonderful, but I'm sure that one big question that comes to me as an educator after that, how do we really prepare our teachers for that? Because that needs a lot of effort on the part of teacher to be doing that. So that's where probably I find it that encouragement or motivation or training or professional development of the teachers themselves is very crucial for all of us, right?
Since I feel the content is becoming narrowed, if you see, the content is becoming narrowed, but it is becoming more breaking the boundaries, the interdisciplinary approach. So all the teachers have to sit together, they have to form a team and then teach, I think. And definitely
this is what is the issue. All have to sit together and
they have to sit together, breaking the boundaries, because it is now not related to only one subject. This is going to happen in the future. Interdisciplinary approach is there coming in. So definitely they will have to form as a team. Different teachers have to form a team. Teachers are collaborating, students are collaborating, and a lot of professional development will take place. Once we have used
hope so. Let's hope so. We will have that kind of future. Yeah. Let's keep our fingers crossed. So because that like we have been doing integration of art, means like people have been taken to museums, to every, and then how teacher relates to language, how architecture, how it relates to physics, chemistry, math. I was just watching a series of Leonardo on Sony TV. You have to really see that he was an engineer, and how he would draw what is the truth. He would see that.
Now, necessity is the mother of invention. With online teaching, even none of us were prepared.
I know that is one thing probably for teachers. We have to be really grateful that they moved on from tech-enabled or traditional classrooms to online teaching platforms, and they learned a lot of tools in the process that, and they have really, but probably a lot needs to be done in order to imbibe the spirit of NEP 2020 into the school curriculum and into the school.
It will take place gradually, I'm sure. But one year, once you get it practice, you get used to it. Then I think it becomes easier. Every day it's like experience that counts. That's why we come to you.
So how it was looking at the content once again?
Yeah, I have one question from Ma'am Das.
Yes, go on.
So, is this class that you have only for children, or is it for adults? If it's for adults, then I would also love to join one of your classes.
No, she is teaching, and she will like to answer. Come on, Sada.
Yes. So I have not started teaching adults as of now, but it's open. You can join the LinkedIn community where all of them see and they appreciate my work. That is there. And children also enjoying. I think we're all in this learning phase. I'm sure when we think when NEP 2020 has come and we see that they are breaking the boundaries, we are not classifying students into, like science, humanities, and commerce. Now they can choose any subject. So they can choose guitar, they can choose any subject you think of, they can go for that. So now we feel like, what time did we study? So similarly, I'm sure our is also thinking that why didn't we have this kind of teaching in their time? So
there is a program which goes on this ICSI platform, which Dr. Gulshan Sharma is heading. There is music in history, music in every subject, how that music is being weaved into every subject. So there are special sessions that are going on already with that music integration into various curricular subjects that we are all studying at. Utsav, I'm still wanting to see if you have a short video of your place where we can all see that short video and have wow kind of feeling of the work that you have done out there.
Sure, I'll come to the presentation, but before that, I'd just like to kind of highlight some of those insights that we had got when I was working in Next Education.
No, we'll have to be really quick because next 10 minutes only we'll have to wind it up. Time ke karan. So I would like to see the your place ka stuff. If the people can look at what you have done as part of TD, the process that has gone into your forest conservation and forest transformation, river transformation, that would be a pleasure for all of us. Do you have some?
Okay, let me share the screen first.
Oh yes, I'll give it.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, perfectly fine. Go ahead. You have to show the slides. I think abhi to blank hai, but then probably. Yes, it is visible. Go on. I think it's getting switched off.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, move to the next slide because at the moment we can see only TD Forest Garden.
The logo, right? Yeah.
Right.
So basically, just wanted to kind of showcase, it's a very short excerpt of the larger presentation that we do.
Okay.
Since we're short of time, I'll just take you to a short excerpt of it.
Because I really want people to have a feel, oh yes, that is what it makes us feel that where we are.
So this is like what people generally think of Darjeeling, right? And
why is what, it your slides getting, yes, now it is okay.
So this is Kanchenjunga, the world's third-highest mountain. And for me, one of the world's most gorgeous mountain ever. So this is how Darjeeling has been forever. Okay, and this is how we'd also like to relate to Darjeeling. Okay. And when people, on a clear day, this is what oversees the entire Darjeeling Hills. So Darjeeling Himalayas is actually people call it the Queen of Hills. It's actually one of the 35 biodiversity hotspots of the world. Okay. And so this is like a typical village in Darjeeling. Right? There is nature abounding everywhere. Okay. It's one of the
Is
most
this your
gorgeous.
village?
No, this is one of the villages in
So this is
Darjeeling.
one of the villages. Okay.
Where you got to trek and go. Okay, but after I came back to Darjeeling, apart from these visuals that we see, what I also noticed was this.
Oh,
and
this
this is like the hidden cost of development. So we've got this
right.
whole GDP notion completely flawed as to how development should be. I mean, it has to start from school, but this is how generally development leads us to. Okay, so
I've seen my hills of Himachal Pradesh turning into these urban multi-story buildings.
Yeah, yeah. And so this image for me is something that is very symbolic of what's wrong. A lot of people would look at this and say, oh, and so, because we have a lot of tourists from Calcutta, they would come back and say, oh, ki daroon, and then they would be taking photographs of this. And some of them would even be remarking, saying that, hey, look at Darjeeling. Here, even the clouds are coming from the ground. Okay, they're not just clouds in the sky, there are clouds coming up from the ground. But what you actually see is this smoke that's coming out.
Yes, smoke
coming up from the landfill. Okay, and it's getting mixed with the clouds and making the air very toxic to breathe.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm talking about my hometown, but this is true of everywhere. So the AQI.
I know the way Delhi is having such a lot of pollution is like impossible to breathe, especially after
so
Diwali.
To a large extent, we tend to kind of put the blame outside, thinking that, oh, it's the farmers burning the stubble, it's the people taking their cars out too much. What we don't realize is our simple actions could be leading into this.
Yes.
So it could be the kind of toothbrush that you use. Okay.
Yes.
Because this was the kind of state of the river when I moved in. Okay. And this is the land. So if you look at this, this is where TET is located. We are on a very steep slope. So all of this mess that you see when we started cutting the undergrowth to plant the trees, all of this started coming out. So this is like heaps and heaps of plastic. So almost like 2 decades of waste being dumped here. Okay, so till date, we must have taken off close to 8,000 sacks of plastic from this land. The reason why you take off plastic from the land and water is because it's not biodegradable. It is not food for the other beings in the ecosystem that we have. And what it does is when it occupies space, it creates an impermeable layer which causes landslides. Okay, now this is how we started the soil regeneration work. So this is one of the volunteers, Jimmy, who started taking up a patch. And this the entire stretch that you see, he worked like 14 days, working 8 hours every day, and he took out 35 sacks of plastic from this land. And then he started planting the trees. Okay, and we started working with the community to start clearing off the river of all the plastic trash that is there and other kinds of trash. And we started looking at how do we now make people live in forests rather than moving out from forests and thinking that, okay, you cannot live in a forest. Then we thought, okay, let's make people live in the forest. So this is how we started off. So if you see, we are using stones, we are using mud, we are using bamboo to build a bridge over the river. And we're using a local people with local knowledge of resources to build huts. And this is how the hut turned out to be. Okay, so this is the TTOD dwelling. Okay, that was there. And that we started to let out. And it's a simple mud house, okay, made using bamboo, stones, thatch grass, and like a lot of love from all the volunteers and the workers that were there. Okay, and this particular thing, now you see, if it would have been any cemented structure that would have come up here, how it would have looked, right? It would have been an eyesore. So here it looks like the house is part of the forest. So this was an interesting experiment that we did. And because of this experiment, like I said, I mean, if you go to TripAdvisor, you'll see a lot of reviews about this place. So it got ranked as #1 specialty lodging in Darjeeling. At one point of time, when they took out the listings, it came out to be one of the top 7 entire hotels listings in India. Okay, this is completely as per the traveler rankings, where we have no say, no one has any say except for the traveler reviews. Okay, so this particular video is, and it's all seasons, right? So this particular video is about TD in monsoons. Okay,
Wow.
so
it looks
it
so
has its own
amazing
charm.
and inviting to be there. Mr. Duff, let us plan to be there.
It's beautiful. So we would really like to thank you for taking us on a tour to these mountains and hills, because in pandemic we all locked at home. So I think this is a wonderful experience to see. Beautiful.
So this is a river that's been cleaned up. It's been
This is
unleashed.
the same river that you cleaned, that your
yes,
people cleaned.
Yes, this is a smaller river that went through a land, that goes through a land. So we've cleaned this up completely. So it's an ongoing thing of cleaning up the bigger river.
Great.
And that goes to the community village.
Wonderful.
But
I think we
look
must
at
clap
it.
for him. I think there's a lot of work for environment that has been done. And we've been talking, but this really is so inviting to be there.
Your river actually sings a song. So this is like how, if you listen to the river, it has its own song. And this is only something that we realized once it was completely free. No plastic to tie it down, no waste. So once you let it loose, it kind of sings its own song. Okay, so yeah, with that, I'd like to end here. And for you to see, or any of the viewer to see TD, you'll have to come visit us.
Great. That's so nice and so precise and so good. Dr. Gulshan Sharma, would you like to conclude the session? I don't know whether he's there or not. Let me chat and find it out. Ajay sir? I don't know, maybe he's not there. Anyway, I think it has been wonderful hosting both of you. I think whether we think it or not, but both of you connected with nature, environment, studies, art, education. So on the whole, the session does become a fruitful one. And I'm sure all those who have logged into the YouTube channel, or you can go back to the GS Motivator channel and look at it once again. It has been a wonderful experience to have both of you on this platform. Thank you, Ms. Dav Siddiqui, and thank you, Ustar Pradhan. Pleasure meeting you both, and hope to see you soon on some other time on some other platform. Thank you, everyone. Wish you all good health and safety and protection. Times are very difficult, so take care of yourselves. Let's seek once again the blessings of Mother Nature and the cosmic energies, the powers of the universe. Blessed be the mankind. Blessed be everyone with abundance of health. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Sudha. Ajay sir, if you are there, we can close the session. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Log it out, and then Utsav, I'm logging out. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye. Dr. Gulshan Sharma.